like to amplify the remarks of Reverend Emma in New York about affordable housing and the struggle for affordable housing and the response to gentrification in Detroit, which is being led and spearheaded by the Detroit Association of Realtors and the Michigan Welfare Rights Organization.
WOLB Baltimore and WERQ FM HD3 Baltimore. WOLB Baltimore and WERQ FM HD3 Baltimore.
The views and opinions of the guest and host you hear on 1010 WOLB
are not necessarily those of the staff and management of Radio 1, its sponsors, or advertisers.
It's done unto you as you believe. It's done unto you as you believe.
I'm gonna get there, yes, somehow. Push my way through the crowd. I'm gonna grab you by the hand to a place we will stand. Stand proud, no fear. It's clear, I believe in you. I believe in me. Oh yeah, I believe that we can make this dream a reality. Yeah, yeah. Now's the time to be. Now's the time for miracles. Oh, it's in my heart so deep. So deep, yeah. 'Cause I believe.
Oh, yes. Good morning, Baltimore. I tell you, the spirit of love and peace is in this place. Welcome to Patrick Henderson's Meet the People. We're so happy that you've joined us here on this holiday. Y'all got your cookouts going. Looks like it might rain a little bit, so you better get out there and get it done. Looks like, but you know how it is. We're going to figure out a way to do it. Even if we got to go under the shed and get it done, we're going to get it done. Again, welcome to Patrick Henderson's Meet the People here on WOLB 1010 Baltimore, where information is power, but it is no power if you do nothing with it. Please welcome my co-host, Mr. Leo Burrows Jr. How are you, Leo?
I am wonderful. Good morning, everybody, and praise the Lord and pass the ammunition for justice, decency, and fair play.
Amen, amen. Listen, I tell you, I looked at the picture of my co-anchors the other day, and man, I got to tell you, I just kept staring. Oh, Doc, he over here giving the three things. That red popped that picture. That red he had on. He forgot the memo and didn't wear his suit. But I don't care what he got on. Like today, he's got on this three-piece seersucker. If y'all don't know what that is, y'all
seersucker.
Yeah, that's what it's called. That material.
Name back in the day.
Yeah,
watch them suckers.
That fabric, that is classic American.
Yes, it is.
It's classic American. Please welcome Doc Cheatham. How are you today,
I
sir?
woke up, so it's definitely a good day in the neighborhood.
Yes, it is. And please welcome Mr. James C. Morant. How are you today,
Good morning. Good morning. I'm doing well.
Well, we are
Amen.
happy that each and every one of you here, and we can't forget our brother that can't always get into the studio, but he is omnipresent. Please welcome Mr. Richard Terry. How are you today, Richard?
Good morning, gentlemen, and I am not that good.
You're not that good? Well, I know what your problems. You never are, because I read your text the other day that was saying you're just feeling like you just can't give up, but this is just some crap that's going on in this city, and that we all are just got to rise up to. But before we do that, if you're near a radio and you're not driving, we want you to put your hands on the radio. We want you to just quiet down, each and every one of us. And we're going to say a prayer this morning, as we always do on this show, and ask God to come in, not only and show himself to us, but give us peace in this time of trials. Oh God, our Father, Lord, we love you and we thank you for this beautiful day. Oh Lord, there may be some clouds in the sky, oh God, but we know the sun is going to shine, oh Lord. And And we thank you for that absoluteness, oh God, of you. We thank you for this time together, Lord. We ask you to reach out into our hearts, into our minds, and to our spirits, oh God, and bring us together as one, oh God. Let us stop looking at who and what, oh God, and just look at the color of our skin, and let us know that we are one, not only in you, but with each other, oh God. We love you, and we thank you for this time. The sick, we pray for them, oh God, that you might lift them up, help them to feel better, oh God. I was talking to Leo on the way here, and we talked about as a man thinketh, so is he. So through it all, each and every one of us, let us think on the good things. Let us not posit on the negative, but the car won't start without that negative and that right side, the positive side of that battery. So we thank you for this time together to come and to discuss and to reason together, oh God. We know we can't teach anybody anything, oh God. We only hope to make them think, oh God. We love you and we bless you for this time together. In thy Son, Jesus Christ's name, I pray. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Amen. Well, I know everybody's buzzing about what's going on in the city, especially when it comes to the police. I had the opportunity. And I want to thank each and every one of you who came out to African Liberation Day at Lafayette Park this weekend. It was beautiful. I tell you, every time I see those red, black, and green flags flying, I see our young people out there in Mosiah Fitz, Black Wolves, and I saw the elders out there telling stories and singing, and everybody rejoicing that we were coming together as one people. Doc was trying to get us over to do some surveying of what was going on over in his neighborhood, and there was so much going on we couldn't find each other, but we are going to do that again. And I just want to always give him and each and every one of us the what is the word, appreciation, kudos for the work that we do in our community, because God knows it's in our heart. It's in our hearts. And it was just incredible. I want to thank everybody that came out. They said it was the best attendance they had had in years. So you all came out. Hopefully those of you under the sound of my voice that went out, I want to thank you. Many of you came up to us and talked to us and said to us that you listen to the show every week. And so we thank you for your support.
Amen.
We thank you for your hearts or your minds and for your interest to make Baltimore the great city that it can be, and to bless our people and lift us out of this malaise, these dark clouds that seem to hit us from Central City Hall to the police department all the way up to the State House. So here we are today, Patrick Henderson's Meet the People, and I tell you what, before I do that, I wanted, because we got an event coming up on the 17th of August, and I've got Mosiah Fit. Mosiah, how are you to tell us all about it?
Oh, Patrick, wonderful. I thank you for your time. You know, I always got a point, Patrick, and I read something today on Facebook that somebody tagged me in with your name in it. And I need to make a statement real quick. We always are trying to attack individuals, right? Now, Patrick, you're a gay man, correct?
Right.
Now, today, somebody made a comment about fighting, from gay people and exposing gay people. But we got a apparent, obviously known enemy right here in this country, and they got different acronyms. One is FBI, one is CIA, others is police. We got all this known enemies in this country, yet we find the time to individually attack people.
Well, these were Africans. And they're really, really pissed off at me because they came on there talking about gay people or homosexuality and put all this information on there. And I came back at them and talked about the wasteland that is Africa, because you got a few people, oligarchies, that are running everything. Nigeria, the third richest oil supply in the world, and people are sleeping on the dirt. People, they're abusing their own people, and they think that people being gay is their problem when they need to go home and work with their people there. We don't need them here. They don't have any positive things to posit into us. Even though the Nigerians are the most educated ethnic group in America, they are the most tribalist. They don't communicate with other people, not even in Africa. They don't interchange and interact with each other. So I don't need them, and I don't care. Thank you for bringing it up, but but I tell you what, it is a non sequitur. In other words, it is totally unimportant to me, because as soon as I get off the air, I'm going to go and show these guys and write to them why their efforts are not only foolish but counterproductive to the production of their people. Please, and let's not discuss it any further.
All I'm saying is to say this. People, we find time to look at the smaller things that really people minding their own business and living their life. Why is it affecting you? But here you all got institutions every day in your face, making life hardships for you. But what do you do with those institutions?
They don't do nothing. They say they always find scapegoats. They can, but they could not deny. You notice if you go and you read the whole post, you'll notice that I put in there documented proof that even the people of Africa are sick of it. And the guy come to tell me about their culturalism. I'm a sociology major and I understand what culture is. But when that culture is counterproductive and destroying a group of people as it is destroying the continent of Africa, the Chinese are coming in there now, taking over, marrying into it, so they're going to create a mulatto class that's going to be ruling over the black people are there. Man, I've heard it all, I've read it all, I know it all, and it doesn't bother me. Please now make your announcement so we can move on there, Maestro.
Good.
Yes,
all
sir.
I'm saying is look at the bigger picture.
Yeah, that is it. But it happens right here in America. You got that guy Buttigieg, who will not be elected because black people are not going to vote for him because he's gay, when he's a brilliant man. Instead of looking at what he brings to the table, we want to look at whom he sleeps with. When our children are sleeping with anybody, in fact, and having babies, and the mamas don't even know who the daddy is. Okay, when was the last time a gay person broke in your house? When was the last time a gay person hit you in your head and took your pocketbook? These are things that we don't talk about. And they go to church and they talk about God hates these people when every 90% of the music they're singing is written by gay people. Man, I'm 70 years old. I've seen it all. I've lived it all. And I realize, man, what a complete waste of time and energy. And anytime we can find scapegoats, we will do it rather than talk about what the issues are.
Right.
Would you please make your announcements? Thank you.
Amen.
Please.
I got the man worked up this morning.
Man, please don't get me started.
August 17th is a day of unification. It's a day that the world will recognize. It's a day that the earth will stand still. At Harlem Park, we're having the first ever largest recorded and documented RBG, which stands for Red, Black, and Green. Human flag created by Marcus Garvey of the UNIA in 1920.
It's his birthday, too, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Yes.
In collaboration with Baba Charlie Duggar.
Yes.
And Camp Harambe, the people. Baba Charlie Duggar has been doing Marcus Garvey Day Parade for almost 30-something plus years.
Amen.
Yes.
And it's time to reinforce, uplift, empower, and unify this fight, this battle that people of color all over the world have been subjected to colonialism and division and hate in so many ways and form and fashion. So this is our way to combat all of that ignorance, all of that evil on August 17th, 10,000 strong, Harlem Park, 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. It's a full-day festivity. We're going to have vendors there. We're going to have all different types of resources there. People can come get a job. People can learn about entrepreneurship. People might be able to win a free car. People can get their teeth examined, their eyes examined.
Blood pressure examined. Yes, man. That's going to be a great day. And I want we want you to wear your red, black, and green. We're going to have the stuff for the flags there. But everybody wear red, black, and green. In fact, start wearing it now. Because Brother Messiah put an article in that other day, and he talked about where is your allegiance. One way we can show our allegiance is by what we wear. Red, black, and green, those are powerful colors together. Listen, I got to go. Bless you. We're going to talk about this some more.
They can register, though. Don't forget, they can register at Google. Search RBG Human Flag Day. Again, Google RBG Human Flag Day. We need you all to start registering so we know who's going to be there, and we need to raise funds. Because it's not just going to stay here in Baltimore. It's going to another state next year.
Yeah, it is. But we still going to have ours here annually, though, right?
Annually.
Yes.
Everywhere that we first assembled the RBG Human Flag, that's a coalition that will be established in that city and state. And they will continue, just like they do the American Human Flag every single year.
Yes, sir.
We will continue every single year to do this RBG Human Flag until one day we will have a international or national human flag with millions of people doing it.
Yes,
Messiah.
Yes.
Doc Cheatham here. I'm going to tell you how quick word gets around in our community. I got some messages from folks that, there's this brother that's got a radio show, and he must be a new designer, because they said the word on the street was he designed his own outfit with red, black, and green on. I don't know what that means, Patrick, but that's the word I got on the street.
Let me tell you.
Brothers in the hood was saying, this brother got a radio show. He designed his own clothes on Saturday.
Wait a minute. I didn't have a T-shirt with red, black, and green, so I had red, black, and green masking tape.
Oh, that's what it
and
was.
I took that masking tape
Go ahead
and
with your
made
creative
my own
self.
T-shirt, and I made it in a victory sign.
With your creative self.
On there, and people were coming up asking me, where did you get that? That is so creative. So at the RGB day, I'm bringing boxes of masking tape. People need a T-shirt right there. Wear your black T-shirt, we're going to fix you up.
Don't much happen in our hood that we brothers don't know what's going on.
I love it. That is so funny, man. But a lot of people ask me, we see your shirt, but y'all know in the hood, we have always been creative. When we couldn't afford the TV stand for the new TV, we put the new TV, put the new TV on top of the old one.
That's right.
We've always been creative people. In fact, it is because we invented civilization. And when we understand what we have done to this earth and teach our children that we invented the red light, we invented refrigeration, we invented the internet, we invented laser surgery, the cell phone side. When we understand that this is who we are, then we will stop worrying about who we're sleeping with. Which is totally unimportant. That ain't none of your business. It is. Thank you, Doc, for bringing it up. It was funny. I kept laughing Saturday because they was getting on me, laughing at me, but at the same time applauding me for doing it. All right. Thank you so much, Mosiah.
Henderson, can I say one more thing?
Come on, buddy. Quick? Yeah.
The Black Wolf Youth Scouts have elevated our services now. Mm-hmm. If you are having a community event, and you need some presence, some security presence as a watch guard. Mm-hmm. The Black Wolf Youth Scouts is very professional.
Yes, they are.
They can tell you all about it at African Liberation Day. We held it down.
Yes, you did.
Only two little small events that took place. One was, I think, something with the trash, a glass bottle broke, and then the other one, someone tried to do something slick, but the elders told us that it was excellent. They never experienced anything like that. So if you need a watch guard for your community event, the Black Wolf Youth Scouts do provide that service.
Well, and I gotta say, you were the one standing on the watchtower. They had the Black Wolves on each corner, north, south, east, and west, standing there proudly.
Trayshawn, I remember him.
Yeah, standing there with those with the Pan-African flag, red, black, and green. And I took pictures of it, man, and my heart just leaps every time I see our young people get involved. So my hat's off to you. My hat's off to Leo Burrows for Roots of Scouting. We got to bring our young people in, and we can't come in there telling them, you got to respect us. No, you got to respect them too. Listen to them. Treat them not like they're a piece of property, but that they are another human being who have a right to voice their opinion. If it needs correction, then you can do it. Go ahead.
My number is 212-202-0107. Again, my number is 212-202-0107. Thank you, Patrick, and thank you, my brothers in the studio.
We bless you, man, and keep up the good work. We'll be in touch with you soon. God bless. Well, we're going to get Manny. I see you there. Can you just hold on for a minute? Don't go nowhere. We want to talk about what happened this past weekend and what has been happening from an editorial written on April the 20th, 2019, in the Baltimore Sun. It says the vague description presented in the email could have been any number of groups of teenagers. Such a description does nothing but raise suspicions about any black boy who happens to find his way downtown. They might as well post signs that say, beware of black teenagers. What are we talking about? Would you please apprise us of what's going on, James C. Morant, sir?
All right. Well, it appears that there were youth that gathered, as they usually do, in the Inner Harbor, and it somehow was construed that these young teenagers, predominantly black, were rioting or creating havoc and jumping on cars and things like that. So Eric Costello, who is the city councilman, I think from Council District 1.
11th
is it 11th?
11th City Council.
All right, thank you. He issued a statement describing the particular incident, and he described it in terms of 400 kids roaming in downtown area, and the whole description set forth the view or the dog whistle about black kids or black young people.
I actually have this statement here, if you don't mind.
Oh, sure.
And good morning, family. This is Brother Jason.
Yes, good morning.
So it says, on Saturday, May 25th at approximately 6:30 p.m., there were 400 plus kids in the Inner Harbor, and they use this word kid, which I hate that terminology. They're children. They're somebody's child. It says at least one person was assaulted. Several reports of destruction of property, a video footage of kids running across East Pratt Street on top of the hood of cars. The Baltimore City Police Department Central District already had a significant deployment in place of anticipation of this evening, and additional resources were deployed in response from across the city. Approximately 5 to 10 individuals were arrested in relations to the above. Most of the crowd were dispersed by approximately 9:30 p.m. All of the above is per my conversation with the major and captain of the Central District. Now, mind you, that's not what the news said.
Who was that quoted
by?
He's saying that this information was per his conversation. This is Eric Costello. This is coming from Eric Costello,
a city council person.
Yeah,
a city council.
That is the person who issued this particular Facebook
He
announcement.
is my city council person, and he's the same city council person who told me that youth works cannot be funded totally because of their strictures that prevent that. And I told him, you have a rainy day fund. Whatever you need to provide summer jobs or year-round jobs, spend the money to enhance the youth, the education and development of our youth. And he's playing that game that it can't be done. We're limited in what we can do. No, we're not limited.
There are larger issues. The issue for me is, first you say there are 400 kids roaming the area. Well, I don't know whether there were 400 or not. Some people say there were 100 or less. And then there were 6 that were arrested. So did these 6 represent 400 marauding black people, or were there 6 people that were just arrested? And what I say about all that is that when the Ravens have something,
come on,
and
let them win the championship,
and white folk vomit all over the streets and do whatever they
break
do,
windows, set
break
cars
windows
afire.
Or whatever, or when they have a bonfire at the University of Maryland,
never mind those special events. Just go right around the corner to Federal Hill, down there where the bars are. Go there on a Friday and Saturday night and see all the drunken people all in the street,
urinating
and eating food on the floor. And
but the way they have cast this,
of course,
they cast it as, well, you have 400 black people, and you have all these people being arrested. And I'm saying on a normal day in Baltimore City, there are going to be 6 people arrested.
Yes, sir.
Here's 2 questions that I would need to bring up. One, Costello, if you spoke directly to a police officer, y'all don't know the difference as to whether or not it was 400 or 100. What was the figure? You say that people were arrested, but you give us a number of 5 to 10. Well, how many got arrested? If you spoke to a police officer,
right.
If you spoke to a police officer, he or she should be able to tell you how many people were there, how many were exactly arrested. And this is not the first time we got a spin from this particular councilman that seems racist or at the very nature. You know, it just so happens he knows how many people were there. Did you count the 400?
No.
Did the police officer tell you that?
No.
Was it 5 or was it 10 that got arrested? Or was it 6?
Doc, what's interesting about this whole conversation is that's not what was reported on the news. The news just said there were some teenagers fighting, and that's it. They never talked about an assault on tourists or anybody that was outside of this group down there, other than them fighting amongst themselves. And there was no report of destruction of property on any of the news media.
Well, but again, that is how we are being portrayed, at least by our top-level city official in terms of Councilman Costello. And then to make matters worse, and you might have copies of this, the Fraternal Order of Police issued a statement to their folks. I don't know, Jason, if you can pull that one up.
Yep, I have their statement as well.
And their statement makes an already bad situation absolutely horrible. If you'd read that statement, we can.
So here's the information. This was a tweet that was posted by the Fraternal Order of Police of Baltimore City. It says, "To our officers at the harbor tonight, protect each other. Don't fall into the trap that they are only kids." And again, there goes that word kid again. You see the common terminology here. And then it goes on to say, "Some are criminals. Keep the current policies and consent decree in mind. If ordered to arrest, put the name of the on-scene commander and all of the reports." And this was actually issued out by Mike Mancuso, who happens to be a representative of the Fraternal Order of Police, Lodge Number 3.
Gentlemen, go ahead.
I would say it sounds as though the Fraternal Order of Police have a new, mandate. It's not protect and serve. Protect and serve white folks that are police officers coming from their counties because they're in Baltimore City. I think we need to challenge this. I would hope that on the radio shows tomorrow, we call it out for what it is. Costello seemingly started it with his written statement that is so very vague. And then the police are saying protect and serve only the officers. You're not protecting and serving everybody?
No, man, that's not their. They don't do it.
But Patrick, if you remember, I showed you a letter of them just recently.
Yes.
And the tone and the language was like, protect the brotherhood.
Yes.
Never mind, the fact that the system is coming down on us and that we're forced to adhere to constitutional policing and the consent decree, but protect the brotherhood.
And they blame in the consent decree, and I'll shut down with this. They blame in the consent decree, but I would say most of us that have lived here as long as we have, we would say we have at least had corruption for at least 40 years. Can you name 4 people that are police officers that reported the corruption in those 40 years, especially some of those folks that call on this show and other shows? How many times have we had officers report the corruption that continues to pervade us here in the city of Baltimore? How often do we hear from them? Who are they protecting? It's not just themselves.
And we're paying them to protect us. And here we are. Leo, I'm going to let you go right quick. Come on.
This is the same lodge headed up by Gene Ryan and Bob Cherry and others, Lodge Number 3, that, if you recall, went after Marilyn Mosby for alleged malicious correction. Get that right.
It's going to be okay.
Malicious prosecution.
Yes. And she won the lawsuit against them.
She won the lawsuit.
Yes, she did.
And this surrounding the events of Freddie Gray. Remember, they're malicious, they're retaliatory.
Yes, they are.
They're hate-filled, and they're racist.
And revengeful. Yes.
So this is what this is about. They're the systemic arm of continuing institutional racism.
Absolutely.
And that's why we have a consent decree.
Exactly. I'm going to read this article as soon as I talk to Manny. He's been holding so long. Thank you, Manny. Do you have a question or comment?
I have a comment. We have to be more concerned with what God thinks about us.
Man, I tell you, sir, I agree. God loves us, but he don't stop these fools from trying to kill us.
Exactly. We have to be more concerned with what God thinks about us.
How about us? What about think about each other? What about what we think about each other? Do you think that comes into the equation when Jesus told us to love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, mind, and soul, and to love our neighbors as ourselves? We forget that part of the commandments. So do you agree that part is missing? It needs more attention than we give it?
What I found that We have to teach our kids the Ten Commandments. We don't preach about that anymore. Well, and talking about, I used to live at Memorial. I used to live up by 33rd Street. I had a house up there back in the 70s.
Hold on, Manny. Hold on. You're listening to Patrick Henderson's Meet the People on WOLB 1010 Baltimore. When we come back, we're going to tell you what the city councilman Costello had to say about this whole thing back in April to show you his state of mind. Be right back. Don't touch that dial.
WOLB Baltimore and WERQ FM HD3 Baltimore. Brought to you by Live Casino and Hotel.
Setting up a scenario.
Welcome back to Patrick Henderson's Meet the People. Y'all know when y'all don't know what be going on up in here when we off the air. The conversation continues. Tyrone, I see you there. Manny, you want to go ahead and finish your statement, sir?
Yeah. I said, they're right. They look at it like this. When I used to live up there by 33rd Street, they had Memorial Stadium, and I own a house up there, right? And them white people would piss on my stuff. They would have sex on my stuff. I complained to the police, and they would do nothing about it.
You should have got a dog.
Yeah, that's right. You know, and I found out that failure in people is caused more by a lack of determination than a lack in talent.
Oh, man, bless you. I got to write that down. Lack of determination.
Right?
All right, I hear you. Thank you so much, Manny. Tyrone, welcome to Patrick Henderson's Meet the People. Do you have a question or comment?
I think Leo's pretty much hit it right on the head as far as the job works programs. And y'all can look this up as work as...
Wait a minute, hold on for a minute. We want to get you recorded well. Could you come off of your speaker and speak directly into your phone? We'd appreciate it.
Leo has it absolutely right. I agree with him wholeheartedly about these jobs. Now, we know that 4,000 kids applied for jobs last year to get the summer jobs. And there's been studies that showed in Chicago and Boston that when you provide these summer jobs programs, it reduces violent crime. Now, if those kids, for instance, that were supposedly marauding, or even the 2 kids that got arrested, were on a job instead of down there, a job they probably applied for and couldn't get, then they wouldn't have been there to get arrested in the first place. And I'm not even sure it's the right kids, because when they look at our children, they look at all of us being guilty. You got to understand that.
Yes,
and that's what that memo meant. They see us as super predators.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
They said it in the memo. They said criminals.
Yeah, predators.
Yeah, they're criminals. I mean, and then it could be a good kid. And I've seen good kids get caught up in the nonsense. That's why I'm very skeptical when we call for apartheid policy on our own people without realizing the ramifications on the good kids. All kids aren't bad. All our children are not bad.
No.
Let's not be fooled.
All white kids ain't bad and all cops ain't bad, but the ones that are bad...
The ones that are should be punished.
But they need the good ones to step up and say, these are the ones that need to be weeded out.
They're making it bad for everybody else.
Thank you so much.
And they have had officers that stepped up. Detective Joseph Crystal, if you remember, had a rat placed on his car.
Yes, man.
He had to move his family out of Baltimore City.
Yes, he did. You're listening to Patrick Henderson's Meet the People, 410-481-1010. I know y'all home today. You ain't got nothing to do. Y'all better hurry up and get that grill hot, because these clouds are rolling in there, predicted rain. But I want you all to call in. Let's talk. Minister Morant, go right ahead.
Yeah, now let me make another quick point. I don't know if you all remember, about 4 or 5 years ago, the Inner Harbor literally shut down during the Easter time. The stores closed early because black children came down dressed in their Sunday go-to-meeting clothes, basically. They were just dressed nicely and wanted to do an Inner Harbor thing. And the newspapers took it and went with it. The Inner Harbor has to shut down because, marauding youth. And so you create that imagery over and over and over, and this is what you get. Then you get the Fraternal Order of Police putting out something that says that people are criminals.
So Costello has aligned himself with the Lodge Number 3 with regard to framing our children as savages.
Yes, well, in this article of the editorial of the Baltimore Sun on April 20th, Councilman Eric Costello, whose district includes downtown, sought to cut the downtown partnership some slack because the email didn't come directly from the organization. He also pointed out that the 5 teenagers did in fact fit a description of a group that had been seen participating in an assault. We certainly hope he is not endorsing racial profiling, says the, whose phone is that? The vague description presented in the email could have been any number of groups of teenagers. Such description does nothing but raise suspicion about any such black boy who happens to find his way downtown. They might as well have posted the signs that say beware of black teenagers. The incident is reminiscent of the time in 2012 when former Baltimore detective Patrick L. Donahue, known for attracting attention with inflammatory comments, issued a press release entitled Black Youth Mobs Terrorize Baltimore on Holidays, which is the instance you're speaking of, Mr. Morant. His comments came after reports of hundreds of fighting youth on St. Patrick's Day. He is also dubbed the Inner Harbor's no travel zone because it was so dangerous and called on Maryland State Police to control roving mobs of black youths. Now, this is the idea that, and the way they painted us, and the way they paint our children. But we mentioned when the Ravens win a championship, they tear this city, and it happens all over the country. Anytime they do it, they're not called raving
irrepressible young people.
Exactly, that's the word they use. They have a right of passage to do as they wish, and it's time for us to not only stand up for it, but y'all need to hit Eric Costello up and tell him we're done. We're tired of him characterizing Eric Costello. What is he, Italian?
I'm not sure, but I know he's a racist white man, apparently. He's ambassador for the Ku Klux Klan or the White Citizens Council or something, but he's not an elderly guy. He's a young guy. He's relatively young. What do you say, about 40 or less than 40, in his 30s? And, they come in all kinds and shapes of racism. Give him a dunce hat or mail him a sheet or something.
No, give him a call and tell him we're done.
But I believe that you can be insensitive and make quote unquote honest mistakes. But this is a pattern. This is a pattern perpetrated also by the news media. They love those kinds of headlines, and we're getting those headlines again this weekend.
James is right. I think James is definitely on point. And if we don't speak out to it at this show, it's quite likely many other shows won't get it. And I want to say something for one of the shows that we follow and speak not really on their behalf, but at least speak in the absence, that we got certain elected officials who don't call certain radio shows like WLB, but they're on the radio quite often a few notches below us. And I think this needs to be brought out during this upcoming election, where we have black folks who need to know very candidly who is with us and who against us, and we need to call out those names.
Yes, we do.
People like Costello, they constantly keep saying things that are inflammatory and insulting to us.
And not true. I agree. You can call their names out right here. But don't y'all ever forget, I was told when I first moved here, them N-words don't vote. So they don't feel like they got to come and explain nothing to you all. But we're going to expose who they are. I don't listen to the other stations. I every now and then listen to Fox, okay? But I tell you what, we're going to find out who those people are. We're going to expose them, and we're going to show them that we do vote. We're going to vote them out of office.
I understand he has aspirations, Eric Costello, to be mayor of Baltimore City.
Really?
Yeah, so maybe he's playing to the gallery.
He's playing to the gallery. Yeah. Well, it's the peanut gallery.
Don't forget we got Richard online.
Richard Terry, we don't forget Richard. We can never forget him. Richard Hogue, you get. Hold on, let me get Mark C. Mark C, what do you got to say about all this? How are you today?
Hey, how y'all doing, man?
We're good.
Hey, Mark.
I said, y'all guys, y'all hit it, man. Y'all know my thing is, man, is making sure that these young people are hooked up with the resources and stuff like that. So I always try to, think of something that we haven't talked about, because you guys are on it, man. But earlier I said, that we think that the officials, our city officials are puppets. I don't let them off the hook like that. I know Leo be saying, but I be in there. I've been in there with him, and Jack Young is not a puppet. He's smart enough to know that the monies that they have are our monies, and that they could be used in a much better way that they're being used.
But will he act on it? See, that's the thing. I was reading a thing this morning from Kim Trueheart, where Jack Young asked her to stop texting him about the children in Baltimore. Just says, I'm not reading your text anymore. I'm not doing anything. Now, as we all know, Kim Trueheart is an avid advocate for our children. She works tirelessly. She has been put in jail for her advocacy by the former mayor of the city, Stephanie Rawlings Blake. Didn't she have her arrested? She was put in jail for it. So I'm telling you, you cannot, if you cut off communication from the people, then you are becoming what is called an autocrat. And we don't need that in the city.
I saw Jack Young sitting on the at the swimming pool. Did you see him on television the other day? He was there at the lifeguard chair, and Scott, Brandon Scott was jumping. He was jumping in the pool, and they promote pool parties for the youth, which is fine. Teach them how to swim. But is he committed to fully funding Youth Works? And they're telling me they're not committed to doing it. So I want to hear Jack Young. Let's get Jack's ass on this show, and he'll have Jack ass tell us where he stands on funding the youth program.
Now, don't call my man.
Let's give
I gotta speak up.
Yeah, I gotta speak up. And Jack, if you're listening, sir,
call in, Jack.
We respect your position, but we need to hear from you. We really do.
The jury will disregard those last remarks.
Yes.
Hey, Patrick, I actually had commented on that post that Kim Trueheart had posted, and I said, with great new power comes greater responsibility, Mr. Mayor Young. So, when you have these new powers, you have a greater responsibility to the community and to the people.
Absolutely.
He said he don't want the job. He said ain't no money. He created the youth fund, but he don't know why nobody ain't get no money. That's what he told the grassroots. Well, I was in there when he said it. But the recs are open. And the only way I got one of those books that I talked about, Doc, with 101 things to do in the park, mentoring, and all that, is I went to the action meeting. We don't hear about none of that stuff.
Mark,
you got a lot of clout. Get these people, get on their butt. We need somebody from Parks and Rec to talk about what's going on.
Housing. We need so much. What were you saying, Jason?
Mark, correct me if I'm wrong. At that call of action meeting, didn't Mayor Jack Young asked the group who received the youth fund, and only one person out of that room stood up, and it happened to be a white lady?
I wasn't in that one. But Miss Flowers was. But I was there when the lady got passionate, Pat, and she said, I am tired of us not getting funding. She said all of these white and bigger groups getting funding, we not getting funding. But Mayor Pugh was trying to work with people. That program the Doc got, the Doc's working with the young people on Saturdays where they get the stipend. There's a lot of stuff going on, man, but nobody's hearing about it.
Yeah, but the bottom line, what was that group, LBS? They were charged with setting that whole program up.
Leaders of a Beautiful Struggle?
Yes, sir. And the leaders of a beautiful struggle, leaders misled us. And a lot of people, the people that should have gotten that money didn't get it. And I know Kim Trueheart, she met with the leader of that organization. And Kim, if you're listening, I'd love to have a debriefing on how that meeting went, because unfortunately, that group LBS is being labeled as failing the community.
Patrick, for all clarification, though, I can't put all of this on LBS. A lot of it had to do with the fact that we didn't have professional grant writers. We didn't understand a 501c organizational structure.
But wasn't it their responsibility to make sure?
So there were some workshops that were supposed to help, but in many cases, a lot of us didn't put our ducks in a row. And a lot of that really falls back on us. And in some cases, the process was unfair because YMCA and United Way got a nice bulk of the money, but they have professional full-time grant writers, and they understand the process of having their ducks in a row and having their structural organization.
Well, then why weren't they given as the city does? When you don't have your ducks in a row, they give you what they call a facilitator who handles all the paperwork, make sure that you do. Why didn't they do that?
Let me back on that a little bit before I go about. I was in there. What you could have did, Jack Young was the facilitator of that $12 million, $24 million.
Correct.
before he turns it over to Catholic Charities, meeting with the grassroots, say, look, y'all guys make me a proposal. I'm going to make sure some of this money is earmarked. We're going to make sure y'all get it. That's what great leaders do.
We should have done. Look at Christopher Irving, one of the most successful programs in the city.
They would not fund him.
They would not fund him, and he keeps getting results. Over 100 young people with their CDL license getting their GEDs. He is effective. He is consistent
and committed,
and he is intelligent and organized. And he didn't get a dime.
But they're using the funding as political patronage.
Y'all be blessed.
Thanks, Mark.
Don't forget Richard.
Richard, you over there? Is you all right? You ain't saying nothing. We ain't heard from you. You got a comment? Because you'd like to say something, Richard? You there, Richard? Open the door, Richard. Richard.
That goes back a ways. Open the door.
So Jack Young will right the wrongs. How long will it take him to right the wrongs with regard to grassroots organizations?
Well, he just got started. He's got time. And I tell you what, Mr. Young, and if anybody in your office is listening, I say to you that you can get these kids jobs, and that's a wonderful thing. But the first thing we got to do is teach these young people some etiquette. We've got to teach them how to keep those jobs. When I got a job as a kid, I kept that job because I knew how to act. And we need to educate our young people. Nobody's talking to them, Leo. Nobody's teaching them that what that job means and how they're to interact. So I'm saying to you, Mr. Young, please, my number 410-258-7373. We have a program for teaching them etiquette and how they should be acting and what it is expected of them to keep these jobs and to get these jobs. We've got to do that. Otherwise, we're just spinning our wheels.
I want him to right the wrongs yesterday. He's been in office more than 20 years. He knows.
But not as mayor.
All right. Well, he's got 1 month.
Right.
Let's get it done.
Yes, let's get it done. All right. Did you have something to say?
No, I'm good.
You're good. 410-481-1010. 410-481-1010. We're also on Facebook Live. If you'd like to go on there and look up on us and talk to us and communicate with us, we'd love to hear from you all.
Facebook, Periscope, YouTube. Thank you to Sister Irene. Thank you to, there's so many folks that are online right now. Delicia. Thank you to Kimberly Love, Bill Gooden. There's so many folks watching. Thank you for joining us online.
Yes, we appreciate it. And I want to thank you all for last week's show. We're up to over 1,000 views on our Facebook Live from last week. So go there. Even if you can't watch the whole thing, you can go to Patrick Henderson's Meet the People page on Facebook, and you can watch, and you can still leave your comments there if you have thoughts about it, because the wise man seeketh counsel. Wise woman seeketh counsel. We don't profess to know everything. There's so much that we don't know. But one thing about it, anything that ain't growing is dying.
I've got it. Everything's been taken care of.
You talking to me? What's been taken care of, Richard? What you talking about?
I was on my cell phone. I've been having problems with my house line.
Right.
And so now they just fixed it, so Verizon just called. They were going to send out another technician.
Richard, your phone is bugged. Join the
club. Can I just make one more statement?
Yes, please.
I've been on social media with this whole controversy, just looking at the kinds of comments.
Hold on a second. You may hear me another voice in here.
All right. And we are not. Black people are not degenerates, which is what we're being called. Black people are not rioters, which is what we're being called. Mm-hmm. Black people are not trash, which is what we're being called. Mm-hmm. And if you go through the kinds of dog whistle statements that this councilman has said, he is bringing forth those kinds of remarks about the kids. Mm-hmm. So we are not degenerates. We are not rioters. We are not trash.
All of us are not poor.
And all of us are not poor.
All of us are less than 25% of us live in poverty.
So can somebody in the 11th district manage to tell him that? How about that?
I will tell him that.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, let's do better than
others
that.
Will tell him.
Costello, 410-481-1010. FOP, 410-481-1010.
Thank you.
Call us. We know you're listening.
I think we got to say I double dare you to call. I triple dare you to call.
Well, we'd love to hear from you. And we ain't going to beat you up. We just want you to come up and explain yourselves. You owe that to us. We pay your salary, sirs and ladies. You owe this to us. And if you feel like you don't, then you're in the wrong position and profession. Bubby, welcome to Patrick Henderson's Meet the People. 410-481-1010. 410-481-1010. Call us in and let us know how you really feel. Bubby, how are you?
Thank you very much for taking my call.
No problem, ever.
It looks like your chickens are coming home to roost. But let me just ask, we live in a city where the man want to be the city council president and the city council president wants to be the mayor.
Ouch.
So who are confused, the people or the politicians? And let me go back to this point.
Right on, Bubby.
I hear some of your panelists keep talking about Jack Young is new at this. Jack Young is not as new as nothing in Baltimore City. He has been around long as Caesar's wife. So let's be very careful when we try to give people latitude when our people are dying in the streets of Baltimore. Yesterday, I received a text along with pictures from the Baltimore City Housing Authority when one of the carpenters was asked to put wooden doors into a senior citizen building when you're supposed to have fire-rated doors so the fire won't transfer. I have called Mayor Young. I have called City Councilman President then Mayor Young and Mayor Young now to ask them why do they do not call the housing officials over to City Hall to explain why is my phone ringing 30 times a day with issues from residents and employees. I am no longer an employee of the Baltimore City Housing Authority. I thought I could rest. My hair no longer is gray as it used to be. But we live in a city where there is no leadership from the black politicians nor the white politicians. The only way we can do this, we need innovative change. And I wish somebody would touch on this fact. How did Brandon Scott beat Sharon Green Middleton in a vote for the city council president?
Easy.
Someone explain that.
Bubby,
I can explain
it's very simple, and if you may allow me to answer.
Go ahead, please.
Okay.
Because of the political manipulations from the silent partners and the silent hands that are the real controls of this city and this state.
And it's called Mom. You refer to it, and who is Mom?
It's always Mom.
So what you're saying, Glenn Middleton does not have the power that he used to have?
He never did. And unfortunately, there are too many people in power authority in this city and this state. They are the real controls. Everybody else are merely puppets on a string.
What is the acronym Mom? What is it?
O'Malley.
Martin O'Malley. Dr. Manley was talking this morning. We heard his show. He talked about the Baltimore Development Corporation.
They are a part of the Baltimore Development Corporation, the President's Roundtable, the Greater Baltimore Committee. If you look at all three lists, and I've never had a chance to really sit down and look at all three lists, I'm laying odds you will find names on all three of those lists that are interchangeable on each of those committees, and then when you really look at it, they will be popping up on the boards of directors of every last one of the medical groups that run this city.
That's right.
Wow.
Quick question. Is Greg Bernstein's wife now the head of technology for Baltimore City?
I think so.
Former prosecutor Greg Bernstein's wife now is the second highest paid city official in Baltimore.
Wow.
Now you tell me Jack Young not in bed with these snakes. Why would you put Bernstein's wife head of technology in Baltimore City?
Well, she must have had the job before, no? While her husband was the city attorney. Yeah, you think so? She's obviously been there.
But she wasn't getting $220,000 a year, though.
Well, maybe they made up because he didn't win the election, so they gave her a little more money. I'm being facetious, of course. I'm being funny.
I have a challenge for us.
Okay.
For the Patrick Henderson Show. Could we not, with the great assistance of Bubby, could we not between now and next Monday locate the direct phone number to the housing commissioner that nobody seems to know. If she walked in front of me, I know I wouldn't know what she looked like. And I'm thinking what we should do as a portion of next week's show, if you would so allow us to do it, Patrick, is that we would actually, as done on some other shows some years ago, that we would actually call into that particular phone number and ask to speak to her. And she's got a week to adjust her schedule to accept our phone call. But we would like to invite her to speak, but better yet, we'd like to have her come into the studio. But I think we need to take this directly to her.
All of them. Yes, sir. I love that idea. And when it first started out, we used to do that. Joan Pratt, Kathy Pugh, they would call in and stuff. What was his name? Sean Tarrant. All of them, they would call in and stuff, but they realized, man, when you come, you can't come half packing up. Right. You got to come right, otherwise you're going to get corrected up in here. Yes, Leo.
For sake of consistency, I want to repeat what I said in previous weeks. Bernard Jack Young has forged an alliance with others, particularly the sheriff of this city, John Anderson, to go nowhere with regard to formulating a crime plan that works, and in terms of formulating strategies in working with our youth that will improve our standard of living.
Yes, sir.
In other words,
now hold on. Listen to Richard. Richard checked on that. And Richard, would you please inform us what the real deal is on the sheriff?
Let's talk about the sheriff.
Yes.
Okay. The real deal is it looks like he's run by the chief judge of the Circuit Court of Maryland, and this is how it was set up. And his charge is to do specific things, especially with regards to the protection of the courthouse and other assorted things. Now, what happens is the fact that the sheriff's office has done patrols, and this was as of October of last year. They were out walking foot. But they have to, I guess, get permission to do so
from that judge.
From the chief judge, I believe.
Who's the judge?
I would have to find out on the organizational chart who's the chief judge for the circuit court. It used to be called the 8th Circuit for the state of Maryland, or it was at one time called the Supreme Bench for the city of Baltimore. But it's now the Circuit Court of Maryland for Baltimore City.
The sheriff is elected every 4 years. Am I correct?
That is correct.
So he's an elected public official.
That is
who's
correct.
accountable to you're saying to the judge of the Circuit Court of Maryland and not to the people of the state or the city.
That was a ploy that took care that happened last year. If I'm right, okay. Richard, you told me that was changed by the president of the city council.
I'm not sure. I got to look back at. I've got my notes somewhere around here. But here's the other side of that too, and that is this task force that has been allegedly constructed that's supposed to put all of these various pieces in one location. This 27-member task force whose construction is in writing, but yet
to be formed.
Nobody has heard from them. Nobody has seen them. And allegedly they're supposed to put out a report with regards to their findings. Nobody has ever heard
What is this group, and who appointed this group, and in what reference what are you talking about?
It's called the Mayor's Task Force on Community Collaboration with regards to violence in the city.
Repeat that.
Say it again.
It's the Mayor's Task Force for combating violence in communities. And that, I can't remember it, but I know where it can be found. It's found in Article 1, Section 26 of the Baltimore City Code.
Richard, this is Doc. Is not that the same group that's supposed to be regularly reporting?
No, that's called the Mayor's Commission on Criminal Justice.
Okay,
That's two separate groups.
Okay.
And that's also controlled by the court
walking computer is working, y'all.
Yeah, y'all see what he's cooking. Richard, hold on. Y'all, but see, this is what I'm talking about, because David Anthony Wiggins led us to believe that the sheriff had all of this power. He was the number one police officer in the city.
Hold on a second. I think I can find it on my computer. I just got it back up again.
Okay, go ahead. While you doing that, Bubby, you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Thank you so much, and we're going to do that. We need, I told you to call me, and I like that idea. We're going to set this up. We're going to do a little shock radio up in here. Thanks, Bubby.
Oh, definitely. Be safe.
Be well. You too, my brother.
I call it ambush radio.
Yeah, well. Thomas, welcome to Patrick Henderson's Meet the People. How are you? You have a question or comment?
How you gentlemen doing today?
Oh, we ain't trying to hang.
Great. How you doing?
Listen, Cheryl Bernstein used to be in charge of the mayor's juvenile council committee. Okay? She never had anything to do with IT. So for her now to have this IT job, guys, I think it's just a pay-to-play scheme, Jack Young, we got to think about Cheryl Bernstein. Think about where she came from. She came from the Able Foundation.
Oh, okay.
Go back and look and see what Jack Young's
connection
to the Able Foundation.
Okay.
And the office of the sheriff is the chief law enforcement officer of the city of Baltimore because it's an elected position, not an appointed position.
Okay.
Well, go ahead, Richard.
Okay,
Richard. Thank you, Thomas.
And this is
go ahead.
The jurisdictional boundaries of the sheriff's department is the 8th Judicial Circuit of Maryland, which is also known as the Circuit Court of Maryland for Baltimore City. So that's their jurisdiction.
I'm hearing music.
I'm hearing music too, Jason.
Hold on, that's me. That's my TV set.
Time for a break? Okay.
It's time for your break.
My senior citizens sitting there saying, we hearing music.
Yeah, I know. Don't touch that.
And that song I'm actually playing is a song you produced called Fan the Fire.
Oh, Lord, get out of here. I don't even recognize my own music. You're listening to Patrick Henderson's Meet the People. Don't touch that dial. It's hot up in here. We fan the fire. Go.
Talking the day, soul at night on the new 1010 WOLB.
Each and every Wednesday, tune into At the DJ Booth Radio Show, powered by At Wise Guys Entertainment, hosted by At DJ Knowledge and at On The Grind Duke. Plus, Baltimore's hottest, Bam Bam, is now on the show. Live on WOL 1010 AM, Wednesdays, 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. Special guests, live interviews with the Entertainment Inside Scoop, Artist Spotlight with DJ Duke, and Shop Talk with DJ Knowledge. Special thanks to At the Nick of Time Media, at Wise Guys Entertainment. Also watch the show for an official YouTube channel at Wise Guys Entertainment. Get the latest info on the DMV from Queen Bee of the DMV. It's Baltimore's talented DJs and MCs talking about trending topics, live interviews, and artist spotlight. The DJ Booth Radio Show cares about the community and is always giving back to area school. They support new local artists and shining light on up-and-coming talent. Each and every Wednesday from 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. Catch the Shop Talk about local and national entertainment. DJ Booth Radio Show streaming live on WOLBbaltimore.com. Every Wednesday at 1 p.m. It's where the future of entertainment lives. Don't miss it.
Hello, this is Larry Young of the Larry Young Morning Show, and I appreciate you listening to my show every Monday through Friday from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. How would you like for your voice to be heard on WOLB 1010 a.m.? Call Kia at 410-907-0328. The cost is very reasonable, and it will give you an opportunity to have your very own show. Give Kia a call at 410-907-0328. Welcome to the family.
WOLB Baltimore and WERQ FM HD3 Baltimore.
The views and opinions of the guest and host you hear on 1010 WOLB
are not necessarily those of the staff and management of Radio 1, its sponsors, or advertisers.
If you only knew. Who is that singing that, Jason?
My mind is going through.
Jason, can you hear me?
That is Eugene Record.
Man, y'all know who Eugene Record is? Oh, girl, I'd be in trouble if you left me now. That was the album I produced with him, and I co-wrote that song with him. Yes.
I didn't know you wrote that.
Yeah,
Patrick got some. I'm telling you, he got some songs out there.
Hey, listen, I tell you what, the little chicks ain't what they used to be. Y'all need to pray for them.
Where's your song list?
The royalties
is it published? Is your discography?
You can go to Google, and there's a pretty strong, and Wikipedia, and you'll get a real strong discography.
Oh, you're on Wikipedia?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I need your autograph.
Oh, please.
Can we pursue the clarity on this 8th Judicial Circuit of Maryland and its relationship with the sheriff, or should we do that next?
Okay,
I'm trying to figure out.
Let me finish. It says that they have specific duties now.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the specific duties are traffic enforcement.
Mm-hmm.
They are assigned to courthouses.
Mm-hmm.
Court security officers, provides for court security officers, and they are, another one is the accounting department, which processes and collects all fines that have been assessed by the state, by the courts, and domestic violence efforts. So in other words, if you have what's called they have what's called Daddy Day, which means if you have a warrant outstanding for failure to pay child support, then you get that knock on the door at 5 o'clock in the morning, a wake-up call.
Richard, how will we approach that legalistically? Can we introduce a bill or have a bill introduced to include the sheriff's office then going into the streets? How do we approach that?
Well, here's the other part to it, too. And this is where it gets really interesting, because in Title 16, Section 16, Section 42 of the Police Department, part of the Baltimore City Code, Public and Local Laws for Baltimore City, you have that the Sheriff's Department is under the auspices of the Civilian Review Board with respect to any violations of any...
What? What? Did y'all just read that again? Say that again. The Sheriff's Department is under the what?
Under the watch of the Civilian Review Board.
Which is being obstructed by Andre Davis.
Yes,
Bingo.
which is also obstructed by Catherine Pugh.
And that we're still in court with right now.
Exactly. Boy, I tell you.
Hoping our clerk and their office will stop making these snafus and telling us we haven't done certain things so far as filing this complaint that we have. But that's somebody else we need to bring. Frank Conway Sr., God rest his soul, was a regular. Not only did he have his own radio show, but was regular on radio stations.
Yes, talking to the people.
This housing person is just like the clerk of the city of Baltimore. Has anyone seen her? I wouldn't recognize her either.
No, we're going to find a picture of her.
I don't think you know her, but from what I'm hearing from bits and pieces, this has all been a part of an internal war to get rid of everything that Frank put in place, and put in people that are beholden totally to the judge, to the chief judge of the circuit court.
Do you recall? Any of you recall the advocacy on the part of Bernard Jack Young and Mary Pat Clark in advertising their support in the last several elections for the badges to baseball, the Badges for Baseball program run by the sheriff in the city? Of course, they endorsed him to be sheriff, and they've done this consistently. What is the Badges to Baseball program? And in fact, what does the sheriff? I know what they say the sheriff does, but this seems to speak to the institutionalization of the one-party political machine and the institutional corruption that is the underpinning of Baltimore City as the heroin capital of the world.
Is it allowed to go on because the people down in City Hall don't know what the law or the codes or the charters read? Is that it?
Called Patrick, they don't give a damn.
You say it, my brother, and from your mouth to my ears to God's ears, the truth. But if you're listening to Patrick Henderson's Meet the People on WOLB 1010, Brandon, I'm so sorry you hung up. Please call back. I would love to hear what you have to say.
And also, Pat, to answer, Doc, you asked the question, could a bill be put into place? how many bills have there been tried to put into place in order to change the criminal justice system for the better in the city, and the cabal known as the Baltimore City delegation has failed to even think about it.
You're absolutely right. Diane, welcome to Patrick Henderson's Meet the People. Do you have a question or comment? 410-481-1010. Brandon, please call back, sir. I'm so sorry to have kept you waiting, but we'd love to hear from what you have to say. Diane, you're on the air.
Good afternoon. And
Good afternoon.
I'm going to say Happy Decoration Day, and then I'm going to say Happy Memorial Day, because the African-American slaves started Dependent Day, and the whites took it over in 1967 and called it Memorial Day.
That's right.
So I thank God that, I know my history, and I was listening to all what you all said. That means that we had to put on our gear, our army fatigues, and when I say it, I'm talking about metaphorically, and get out in the streets and teach our people, because what Richard just read, that has changed over the years. What he just read, that's new. That was not what the sheriff in Baltimore City or anywhere in the state of Maryland was supposed to do. Leo talked about what they were supposed to do, and what's his name?
David Anthony Wiggins. Yes,
that's
he did.
what the sheriff was supposed to do. They changed it in the midst while we sitting on the radio arguing with each other. So they do a lot of stuff undercover.
Yes, they do.
Under the name of law.
Under the color of law,
Right,
Dwight Pettit.
and we're not paying attention because we don't really know, and I'm going to be honest, really know about the policies that they do. They sneak in, and under the watch of people that look just like us.
Yes, that's the sad part.
So that makes us have to gear up and fight the more. And and it seems like sometimes it's redundantly, but we have to pull younger people in and let them know, because they're not getting this in school. We learned all this when I was in school, from junior high all the way through high school.
What school did you go to?
Huh?
What school did you go to?
What school? I went to Garrison Junior High.
Yay, my alma mater.
And I also went to Southwestern Senior High School. But also, we had people in the community that was willing to teach, because what's that? Leo knows the Soul School of Baltimore. I call it the Soul School of Baltimore. I'm putting Baltimore at the end of, but it's the Soul School Institute. They started at Sojourner Douglas, teaching young people the African history and their parents, because after the children learned, the parents started coming in and learning, and we just don't recognize those they're all the real grassroots people that really are on the ground teaching. And it's like Dr. Manley said today, why don't they want us to educate our young children?
Yes,
I'm going to say, call Stokes. They don't want an African-American all-boys school. They did it before. We had Blake Jemison up on Caroline.
Dr. Emery.
And Emery. You're right, Caroline and Biddle Street. And then we have Carl Stokes School. And then it's another school, Roots and something.
Roots and Branch is scheduled to be closed next year, as well as Gilmore.
See, it's like all the black schools. We not, they want closed because they don't want to educate our children. We have to educate our parents where they fight. They used to fight with the teachers when the teachers, before they signed their little contract not to go on strikes, with the teachers in Baltimore City, when I was in elementary school, they used to go on strikes all the time. And all of a sudden they put that clause in there and it made it a contract that they can't strike. And it hurts. It's hurting our children. It hurts our parents, and it's hurting us as a community. And also, Patrick, I wanted to say, you wanted to know who was head of the circuit court. But if I'm not mistaken, it's Wanda Keys Hurt.
Judge Wanda Keys Hurd.
Right.
For the 8th.
She's the chief judge.
Ain't that your buddy?
If I'm not mistaken, that's what she said. I have to go back and look it up. But I was at an event with her a couple of weeks ago, and they introduced her.
Is that the 8th? I know she's chief judge of the circuit court, but I wasn't sure. But this is the 8th district here, so that has to be Wanda. We'll double check that.
We'll double check that, and she's.
And, if it's Baltimore City, she is the chief judge of the. This is the 8th Judicial Circuit.
Very good.
Right.
That's Wanda Keys Hurd.
Right, and I also wanted to say, yes, I do know the commissioner. I do see her as I don't see her a lot on television, but when they have stuff for public housing, she's out there. But you also got to remember that when O'Malley came in, he joined them together, HCD, and Housing Authority of Baltimore, and that's how you got all this crumbling stuff because they were separate.
Were they more effective before then?
Yes.
Okay.
It was very effective, yes. Mm-hmm. And then here's the thing about it. They have tied the people that's on the Resident Advisory Board, they have tied their hands so much. It's like they doing stuff that they telling the Resident Advisory Board what to do, and that's the Resident Advisory Board was not set up for that. It was set up to protect the residents of public housing from unlegal practice that were, doing to them by housing authority.
Yes, like making the ladies pay with sex.
Her name is Janet Abraham. And what's her name? Braverman for HCD.
Michael Braverman.
Mm-hmm. So you need to bring all of them in.
All right, we're going to do our best. Diane, you've been a source of great information. Thank you so much for all you do. I'm trying to get to everybody. 410-481-1010. 410-481-1010. Welcome to Patrick Henderson's Meet the People. Do you have a question or comment, sir?
Yeah, how you Jim Crow baby boomers doing?
Jim Crow baby boomers.
Yeah.
Is that what you call us? Well, with a name like Unc, I suppose you're supposed to be enlightened. Why would you call your brothers Jim Crow?
Aren't you Jim Crow baby boomer?
Hey, I don't claim Jim Crow nothing. Hell no, I'm no Jim Crow. That's what that was their ideal or what they thought it was. But no, I'm not Jim Crow. Are you saying that I lived under it? If you're saying I've lived under it, yeah, I grew up in Texas. Of course I did.
Okay, the question is, you think we can sue the city and the state on these Jim Crow laws? You have a good one, brother.
Well,
it's in the water. It's in the water.
He should have asked the question instead of being stupid.
Well,
ask the question or make the statement. And
common sense is not common to all. And my brother, I don't know. I think that we attack each other, and we. It's okay. It's okay. We get the negative, but the one thing that I sense from us is a hatred for each other. We don't find a way to love. We always find a way to pick and to put down. But it's okay, man. I tell you what I've seen in my lifetime in these 70 years from my own people. I tell you, if I wanted to be bitter, I could easily be there. But I know it's because of the circumstances that we have grown up under. We don't like ourselves, the colorism, sexism, all of those horrible things. And then the way that the white world has painted us, hell, why wouldn't you hate yourself if you're going to go by white folks? What they say, they've assimilated us, and we believe the bull crap. And so I understand you making a statement like that. But I forgive you, and I hope you to forgive me. Yes.
If you say something loud enough and long enough, the masses will sometimes glom onto it and believe it.
Yes.
And unfortunately, to answer that individual's last question, you may try, but the state will claim sovereign immunity and the lawsuit will go nowhere.
Yes, it only does. The only thing they're going to understand is us coming in March and letting them know that it's either or. They're going to do it or this is what we're going to do.
So do we have to protest the sheriff's office?
Well, not only do we protest, but we must expose, and then once we expose
and march and demonstrate,
and then start calling, and raise these people. They don't like calls. They don't like your emails. They don't like that, because then those things are documented. And once you document it that people are coming against you, they must respond. Am I right, Mark?
You're right. I'm thinking we definitely need to get the information. I'm hoping our co-host of the show before this one could call in, unless one of y'all know I know the education rally that he's having is this Wednesday.
Mr. Manley, Professor Manley, Dr. Manley.
And does anyone know the exact time and location?
5:30 p.m., 4509 East Monument Street. 4509 East Monument Street, 5:30 this Wednesday, the 29th. And I understand that 4509 is just to the east of, Pulaski Highway or something like that.
Put it in your Google. But
the address is correct. 4509.
We're encouraging folks to speak out about that which is happening in their schools, but not happening in the schools. This is an opportunity for folks to come together collectively and speak out against the Board of School Commissioners and the CEO about the concerns and problems that we may in fact be encountering.
Yes, and I'm hoping that Dr. Manley will put this on Facebook, this live session, so all all of you that just getting off work, got to get home and take care of your babies or do whatever you got to do, you will tune in. If you're on Facebook, have your children show you how to do it. It's easy. Just go to, there'll be a page for it, and we'll make sure that we give you an attachment so you'll know where it is. But y'all, we need to watch this. We've got to wake up. There must be a new awakening in our minds and our spirit. Otherwise, these people are just going to walk on us.
Right now, the political season has begun.
Yes, it has.
I've just got an email the other day from everybody's favorite delegate, Nick Mosby, and I think he's gearing up for a re-election run.
Interesting.
We now have to begin to look at every legislator from Holiday Street down to State Circle and begin to exercise the bad ones out of there.
As never before. Ernest, welcome to Patrick Henderson's Meet the People. You have a question or comment?
Yes. Judge Karen Friedman is the 8th Judicial Circuit of Baltimore City.
Say the name again, Judge Karen?
Karen Friedman.
Friedman.
Okay. All right.
Now, so some of the information that Diane gave was wrong.
Okay, help us out.
Now, for those people that want to know what happens to a police if they go across the thin blue line, you go to YouTube and say crossing the thin blue line. It's about 2 Chicago police.
Ernest, I know that you might think you're moving a little slow. Come quickly with your thoughts. We'd appreciate it because we don't have that much time, but come quickly with your thoughts.
Google crossing the thin blue line.
Okay.
Now, racism is everywhere.
Right.
I never worked in a unit in the police department in vice, drugs, gun trace task force. I worked in uniform mostly and in the headquarters building.
Okay.
So I had no opportunity to be involved in any kind of illegal activity.
Okay.
So when you say that somebody said the retired police, what did he report in reference to when he was on his job? Well, I can ask the same question. Racism is everywhere in the United States. Who did you report on your job for racism?
Me, I never had a job, so I didn't have to do that.
I'm not talking about you.
Okay.
You never made that statement.
In general. Okay, well, who are you? Who said that? Did anybody here say that?
That's what I'm talking to.
Not only did I do it, I think if anyone spoke out...
You don't know anything about me, Doc Cheatham.
Wait, did I call your name? Did I call your name?
You don't know where I worked.
He didn't call your
Did
name.
I call his name?
Yeah, Ernest, nobody called you out.
I'm calling your name, Negro.
Yeah, but you stay stepping on your toes.
I live in 16, don't wear it. Come see me anytime, brother. Just don't come to a gunfight with a knife, okay?
But you know what,
I'll give you my address.
Ernest,
Come see me.
Ernest, why are you calling on here?
Nothing but a foreman. You had, what's it called, his number?
Well, wait a minute. My man.
What's it called?
What's Kevin Davis' home phone? I mean,
dog, I don't know, man. I tell you, you stepped on his toes.
What's the comms number? Watch that.
When you step on somebody's toes, do they holler or what?
Does anybody know what he was talking about?
Not a clue. It's just, he's having problem. Maybe it's consciousness for what he didn't do while he was a policeman. I don't know, but we hope you find peace, Ernest. And please, don't call and accuse us of things that, nobody called your name. What's going on here? Here we are. We're almost at the end of the show. 410-481-1010. We found out a lot. We got that judge's name. His name is Friedman, who might have put forth that legislation. The question to the sheriff's department is, how can a judge override the people's will and direct this guy? What kind of...
It's a mess. I mean, it's a real mess. I mean, again, we elect the sheriff. Is this a reason why the sheriff is not accountable?
That's what I
mean, he gets reelected. He doesn't campaign for office. No one says anything. He's not rebuked for his inaction or his lack of involvement in a crime-fighting strategy or anything else. He's just a fixture.
Many people do not understand what the sheriff's office does.
Before you go on, hold on. The reason we're saying this is because I went to a meeting the other night with our the 40th District, Antonio Hayes and Nick Mosby, and they were telling us about the budget for Baltimore, $51 million, and $23 million of that is going to be used to tear down the old prison downtown. Of course, my question are, why are we trying to build hotels for people that are in jail or in prison? And people didn't take that lightly, and Antonio, bless his heart, he said, Patrick, because it's a safety issue. But half of our budget is going to the police. Here we are paying the sheriffs, and they're not doing anything to help with law enforcement and to bring the city under some sort of girding of protection, and we're paying them too. And all this money, $500 million, is going to the police budget. And we're talking, so we're in a police state.
The sheriff
Am I right? Is this a police state?
The sheriff refuses to speak to the issues. This is what's troubling to me. He doesn't open his mouth.
Patrick, and I can see what's there's another prong to this that's about to come right around the corner and bite everybody right in the rear end.
What is it?
And that is the training of every last new person coming out of that academy. The training is from what I've heard, deficient. They've now they're now trying to put together a board to review the training commission, to review the training of the department. And I hate to say this, there are only 6 men in the city of Baltimore that have the credentials to take that whole training curriculum apart, put it together again, and make sure that it does right by the people of the city. I hired 2 of them. I'm the 3rd, and I know the other 3.
Wow. And you could, but we still can't get your voice heard. Richard, I tell you, gentlemen, here we are. What are we going to do? We're telling the people what is happening. That meeting this coming Wednesday
at 5:30.
At 5:30 at 49. What was it?
4509 East Monument Street.
We're all going to be there, and he says everybody's voice will be heard. It will go on until we hear everybody's voice. He's fighting for the school boards, because they are not doing right by our people. When we look at, since I have been here in this city, and before I got here, that the children cannot drink from the water fountains because they're laden with lead piping, and nobody mentions it, and we are just purposely miseducating our children, teaching them algebra when they're going through puberty. What a complete waste of time. No civics classes. They don't know who they are. They don't know what the different parties mean. None of that. And we keep letting it go on. As long as we keep letting it go on, Martin Luther King says a person cannot ride your back unless it's bent. Let us straighten up. Let us stand up. Let us say, no, it's time for this to end. This madness upon our people. This is a beautiful city. There's some gorgeous people here mentally, physically, and everything else. There's some brilliant minds here. But we need to come together. We need to unify. Diane was saying maybe we need to put on our fatigues. No, just start wearing that red, black, and green so we can know you when we see you. That's all I'm going to ask you to do. So when I see you, I'm going to come up and shake your hand and say, yes. Hey, that's all you got to do. You ain't got to move.
I go along with the red, black, and green. I'm not a military person. I ain't about to put on nobody's fatigue.
Me either, but you can put on that red, black, and green.
I got on black.
Yes, and we're going to know who you are. Those are my feelings about it. Richard, we got 3 more minutes, gentlemen, and I would like to give everybody a minute to give a rant or whatever you like to say.
I just want to remind everyone, Roots of Scouting is having its pre-Father's Day jazz concert. Marcus Garvey Jazz Quartet on the 15th, Saturday the 15th of June at 12 noon at St. Cecilia Church. $20 ticket including lunch. Give us a call at 443-651-2578, 443-651-2578. Give Leo a call.
Yes, y'all gonna be drinking? Is it gonna be in the church, or can we have a little sip?
No, you can't.
Okay.
No, it's gonna be a great and it sustains our budget.
Y'all need
so
to
that
have
we
it
can,
outside.
We can serve our youth.
Yeah, y'all need to have it outside so the Saints can get them a little sip while they listen to the jazz. Yes, go ahead, James.
This is a takeoff on the Mancuso tweet that he just sent out about the kids.
And Mancuso is?
Mancuso is the representative of the
No, James, he's the president of the FOP.
I was going to say the representative. Okay, president.
Okay. Fraternal Order of Police.
Fraternal Order of Police.
Lodge number
All
3.
right. So I'm just going to say this to you. It's my new updated tweet. Allow me to fix this for you. To our kids at the harbor tonight, protect each other and don't fall into the trap that they are only cops.
Mm-hmm.
Some are criminals. Keep the First and Fourth Amendments to the Constitution in mind.
Mm-hmm.
If arrested, demand an attorney.
Yes.
I thought this was wonderful.
Oh, that's what. Did you do that? Was your tweet?
No, it's somebody else's tweet. I've stolen it.
Hallelujah. All right, up in the house. I love that. Thank you, James. Doc Marvin, Doc Cheatham. Yes, sir.
June 19th, Juneteenth Day, from 6 to 8 p.m. at 2718 West North Avenue. It's known as the Leonard Hicks Community Center. We will have a citywide discussion about food apartheid. We will be discussing a symposium while 1/4 of the citizens in Baltimore live in a food desert. Yes. June 19th.
Where?
We want you to come. It's going to be at 2718 West North Avenue, Leonard E. Hicks Community Center.
Okay, Leonard E. Hicks.
Open and free to the public, free food and free door prizes. We're trying to get you there.
Yes.
Have some drinks?
Yeah, I ain't asking them that. They ain't sitting and listening to music.
No sipping. No sipping. No sipping.
On June the 5th, as many of you know, I have the Urban Harmony Music Academy, and we will be having what could be my last recital there. I don't know. As many of you know, I'm going through something, and I'm going to be getting treatment for my cancer. For the cancer, I ain't claiming it. But the 5th of June at Liberty Elementary School Auditorium will be the recital of my children and of my school. And it's going to be incredible. You don't want to miss it. Put it on your calendar. Come and show our children that not only you're excited about their growth, but that you appreciate the idea that they're trying to make something better.
What time is it?
There's a 2:30 concert, and then there's going to be one at 4. So if you don't have anything to do and you can get there, we would love to see you. Come at Liberty Elementary School to the Urban Music Harmony Academy. We'll be in our recital. What could be the last? We'll see. All right. God bless each and every one of you.
God bless you.
We love you all so much. Thank you for listening. Thank you for listening. And remember, you can love the Lord God with all your heart, mind, and body and soul. Amen. But if you don't love your neighbor as yourself, you're not keeping the word according to the Jesus the Christ, who we love. God bless each and every one of you. Have a great, great week.
Amen.
Bye-bye.
Amen.
You've been listening to Patrick Henderson, Meet the People.
It's too important to give up for anything. This is not a time to get distracted. No, no, no. This is not a time to go off course. This is not a time to lose your focus. You got a work to do.
WOLB Baltimore and WERQ FM HD3 Baltimore. Brought to you by Live Casino and Hotel.
Did you miss breakfast with the Larry Young Morning Show? We got you. Have lunch with Labor every Tuesday, 12 until 1 o'clock on WOLB 1010 AM. David and you and labor issues that matter.
Lunch with Labor every Tuesday, 12 to 1 p.m. Labor issues that affect and matter to you. Tune in every Tuesday, 12 to 1 p.m. on WOLB.
1010 WOLB.
My name is Dr. Will Crossley, president of the Pineywood School, the longest-serving African-American boarding school in the country. Since 1909, Pineywood has educated children with the unshakable belief that all students can lead extraordinary lives through academic achievement and responsible citizenship. As a graduate, I was once one of those students. With nearly 100% of our graduates going on to college, you can make an impact in our students' lives and communities. Partner with us today. Go to piney-woods.org and click Donate.
1010 WOLB.
It's our last errand today, Jimmy. Just need to pick up some light bulbs.
Whoa, there's so many. Did Grandma tell you which ones to buy?
No, but check out the label on this package. It'll help us find the right bulbs.
Does it really matter?
Well, sure. The new light bulbs use a lot less energy, so we save money on our electric bill by using an energy-saving incandescent, CFL, or LED.
How about